there's anyone with the highest average game time on Dry Arabia, it has to be Beasty. So PuppyPaw will want to play this one fast.
Spawning in on the northern side of the map, it is going to be Beastyqt playing as the Mongols in blue, and down south, it is going to be PuppyPaw playing as the French in red. And looking at the town center spot of Beastyqt, he has not been blessed with a great generation from that perspective. He could only place it close to the forest and the berries. It's not great, but it's not really, well, bad either. At least you have the backup food, and we have seen more and more that the Mongol players also go for the berries in some instances because they are trying to save up on every single bit of resource that they can on, and in many ways they are fine delaying the pastures rather to just supplement a slightly more aggressive play in like this mid-game scenario. So it's actually not unprecedented nowadays that you're seeing Mongol players go heavier on the berries simply because they want to save the resources on the pasture investment.
Yeah, the interesting detail to think about here is actually if you end up being the mid-tempo aggressor, if you're able to box the French in, per se, you can even plant the deer right in front of your base. Like, that's something we've seen a lot more Mongol players doing. I think Mist is actually a pristine example of this. He's a player that loves to go onto the deers, and he tries to delay pastures in some of his builds. So it's something we could see. I think the Mongols are like the tier point of like actually evolving again, where they are less reliant on pastures and go for more this kind of like timing attack midway through feudal at the beginning of castle. But for now, it's going to be the standard timing attack. The time is outpost o'clock.
I mean, we all know that Beastyqt is basically the #1 enthusiast of tower rushing. Like, every time you bring Beasty into the broadcast booth, he sees a Mongol game, he's like, tower rush, do a tower rush. So like, you know, honestly, Beasty tower rushing with the Mongols is just as predictable as the 5 o'clock tea for the Englishman.
I just like, I think my favorite part is just when I watch BC do this, and then you'll see it done to him, and he'll be like, "This is dumb." He's like, you just have to chuckle at. It's like it is dumb. He's not wrong there. But you know, if you can't beat evil, become evil, right? Join the dark side in this situation.
If you can't beat them,
like
join them.
Stage,
Yep.
exactly. I feel like at this stage, everyone in the top 50, like, I don't care who you are, what you try to say. If you're telling me you've never outpost rushed an opponent in a game, I call lies.
I think, like, honestly, if I look at my account, I have like 20 1v1 games played in total, and like 15 of them have been Mongol tower rushes. So I can understand what you're saying here.
It's a cheesy part of gameplay, sure, but it's a core part of gameplay. Whoops,
It's a core part?
Slip? Of the games I saw yesterday, yes, it bloody well is.
All right.
So PuppyPaw making his way up. Is he going? I want to actually a nice detail I always looked for because I'm compiling in my brain to be a nerd. Is like when these French players typically go for wheelbarrow. He hasn't even built the mill yet, so this could end up being a very late wheelbarrow if at all, because now he has to address this. It's arrived. He knows it's here. He even pushes a villager. He's like, oh, I see. My mini scouting job is done, and oh, he deletes it. He's like, I'm done with this mining camp. I've got enough for the first night. Scrab.
Yeah, honestly, if there's a civilization that has pretty well figured out how to respond to this, though, that is the French. And we have seen the Mista pioneering that approach, where you just go for full scouts, like 6-7 scouts from your school of cavalry, and you go for a couple of archers from a range, and your scouts will essentially act as your cheap torch units to burn down those towers with. Yeah. So if there's any civilization that is suitable for countering this tower rush, is the French. And honestly, now that I'm saying that, I'm actually starting to feel that people may have picked French over here, knowing or at least hoping that Beast is gonna pick Mongols, and he probably was like, okay, if Beast is picking Mongols, it's gotta be a tower rush. So honestly, this might be the best civilization, or at least the single civilization that has the best and most straightforward reaction to a Mongol tower rush. And you see, it's not going to do that much over here for Beast. In fact, oh yeah, he's not bailing. He is not bailing, he's waiting for a second tower right now.
Yeah, but the scout sees him, so he's going to have to rethink that. And the villager pull, moving across, because look, you've moved away from your outpost. It would be a shame if, while it was unguarded, if someone was to, I don't know, start a fire.
Yeah, or just throw unlit torches on it, because half of the villagers are doing just that. We've talked about this one yesterday. I mean, some of these guys have torches out there. They should at least pass it on to the guys that don't have it lit.
I mean, maybe this is more reasonable, Lidakor. Like, yeah, oh yeah, you throw the fire, we'll just throw logs on it, right? Yesterday, we literally had like 25 villagers, and none of them had lit torches. Like, they're literally just lobbing wood at a bigger piece of wood.
Honestly, like, if there's one guy that's lobbying one lit torch on it, it's fine, because that torch that's on fire is going to set the non-lit torches on fire once they reach the building anyways, no?
You're not going to solve me on this, all right? Those guys yesterday were drunk. Nobody had a lit torch, okay?
I saw it. I mean, I was observing for you, man.
I know. You're trying to make an excuse. They are just incompetent, okay? Clearly they were doing half damage. They didn't have lit torches. That should be the price you pay. I actually kind of hope that we don't lose these dumb animations because they've actually made the game so enjoyable. Like the scout skipping one, where his horse wakes up and needs to do its very fast stretches. You know the one I'm talking about? Where it just goes like...
Yeah.
8 times speed. Oh.
I love that. I love floating scouts. Like, honestly, it's one of my favorite bugs in the game. Like, you know, same thing. If you can't beat them, join them. So it's like, if you can't get rid of the bugs, might as well enjoy them.
Hey, dude. Like, I played and cast Dota 2 for many years. If there's one thing I got used to, it's bugs. We literally to this day, if you look at the directory for that game, it's called Dota 2_beta. So, yeah. Games are never truly fixed. They just evolve. And, well, let's see how PuppyPaw is going to evolve the state of his early game here. Moves out for the mill. This is a heavily delayed wheelbarrow, but understandably so, considering he was blocked off the gold at the beginning of his feudal edge.
Yeah, he probably could have considered going for the very early wheelbarrow in Dark Age, but he probably was suspecting a tower rush coming as a villager is getting yoinked here by the Knight of PuppyPaw. That's nice value there. But yeah, he was probably like, okay, if there's a tower rush coming, I can't squeeze in feudal and wheelbarrow, so I will prioritize feudal as compared to wheelbarrow. Knight actually getting pretty reasonable value for himself over there, but Beasty, he's relentless with those towers. You know he's never bailing on those towers.
Yeah, but he's never getting arrow slits for them either, which is a problem because he only just got into feudal. It's going to be too late to actually upgrade them. Only one person inside. And the cool detail to go back to what you're saying about like what PuppyPaw done, he did have the gold for feudal, but he only had enough gold to like, he could either commit a little bit longer and get wheelbarrow, or he could go for the knight, and he saw more value in the knight. And props to him, because it is a better way to play the game. You're playing for aggressive gains that way. You're playing to your advantage, because there's one thing the French do better than practically any other civ at the beginning of feudal, it's butcher villages.
And they have to do that, because it's tempo-aggressive civilization. It's not a civilization that you're comfortable with when you're just sitting inside your base defending. You want to be the aggressor, so you need a couple of knights to do that with. And looks like the villager might actually get the tower up just before getting killed in action here. The hero of the Mongol Empire, ladies and gentlemen, gets the tower up, sacrifices his life for the greater good.
So, like, when the Khan dies, does he become the new Khan? Is that how that works? Damn, that's how it should work. You know, okay, guys, everyone hates that so hear me out. Everyone hates that the Khan just respawns for free. Like, oh, you know, GG, you lost him, but he comes back and you don't have to pay anything. What if we made this like the Matrix, you know, like the agents? Like, oh, well, they're always got to exist, so they'll just embody someone else. I'm game with it.
So you're telling me that we should spawn a Khan 2 minutes after every single villager dies?
No. I'm saying that when the Khan dies, 2-minute timer starts, but when it ends, one of your units random on the map becomes Agent Smith. Even bombards are allowed, which means Beasty is always going to end up having like his Khan from bombard.
Yeah, but I mean, where's the historical immersion in just you know, respawning as Mr. Smith?
I thought we covered this yesterday on the stream when I pointed out that this is all a simulation and this is like 41st century stuff, but I can go through it again if you like. I even
please no.
created a 10-page document that we can... Oh, okay.
Alright, back to this game over here. PuppyPaw is actually moving on to stone. So it's gonna be second PC play.
You know how you said, like, they're a tempo-aggressive civ? And then immediately PuppyPaw was like, no, we're a town center booming civ. Go, go, go!
I mean, I'm just trying to speedrun making 10 false claims while casting today.
It's okay, we'll get a counter for you. Oh god.
Yeah, we need a counter like that on chat. It's like every time I make a false statement, we just increase that counter. And we're going to check at the end of Road to Wololo how much I've reached.
Whoa. No, yeah. I thought you guys say that chat was wrong. That never happens, Lidakor. If there's anything I've learned, you say that chat is always right. That way, they gift more Twitch primes.
That is true. I mean, they are paying us, right? Like, you know, you're telling me EGC is paying us. Wait a minute, it's not. It's chat paying us, and Microsoft is paying us to do this thing for them.
You just made them self-aware. You just said they pay for you, so now it's dance monkey dance. And right now, speaking of monkeys that have to dance here, you can see Beasty's not letting up on the Mongol pushing. He's trying to make PuppyPaw dance too soon, but the second TC coming out soon, it's where PuppyPaw can potentially break out. And 1 or 2 knights is still just dishing some damage. It's still striking in. You can see PuppyPaw is remaining ahead in the eco department, as he rightfully should, because the French do build those villages quicker.
That's the second knight that went down in the last couple of minutes to either the Tower Fire or the Spearman of Beastyqt, and those are expensive. This is one of the key things to assess. Trading 1 knight for 1 villager is not worth it. If you can't even kill a villager, it's even worse. When it comes to the French, you want to be swooping in with those knights, getting the kills, but then disengaging and healing up, because those knights are extremely pricey. You can't afford to lose 1 or 2 knights like that even. Uh-oh.
Well, this is only half constructed.
Hello?
He started
Hello?
gathering deer. What
What
is this
for?
greed right now? For the TC back at home, because if you're not careful, you won't get to bank it in here. He finally does the right thing and uses every single villager, so town center will be going up. But while you're going up in the TC department, Beasty, he's counting from 2 to 3.
And he's also going to be counting from 1 to 2 once he reaches Castle Edge, because oh, wait a minute, he's not even going to count from 1 to 2 town centers himself,
What?
because PuppyPaw just gives up.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Wait a minute, let's check if it's a crack. It's possible.
That's true. This is PuppyPaw.
We're going to take a look at admin chat to see whether this was a crash or not.
Because that doesn't seem like he's not GG that. Like the only thing I could think is like he spotted the step readout, but even spotting it, like French knights can combat in feudal age up against Castle Age knights. It's not like that one-sided.
I can understand and justify PuppyPaw tapping out at this moment, especially because, like, remember, he lost some of his knights. He had his second TC scouted, and this is an important factor to consider as well. Like, if PuppyPaw sees the age up, and he also knows that Beasty knows he's aging up, PuppyPaw knows very well what's coming next. He's got no map control. Beasty's going to secure 4 or 5 relics for himself, drop a second town center, and he's going to be playing from an advantageous position. I can see this being a GG.
It is confirmed. Yeah, it is confirmed. It looks like it is a GG, folks. So PuppyPaw, he doesn't wait around. Like, admittedly, he was at a disadvantage here. The problem is he only just began the second TC, and he would have noticed the tech up coming out. So I can kind of understand where he's coming from. I thought maybe he'd hang around a little bit longer. There's always going to be that debate in people's mind because, like, realistically, with games like Age of Empires 4, it's not comparative to say like CS:GO or like Dota 2 when the game is definitely over. Like, you know, there's a clear end state if this building goes down. I actually maybe not Dota 2 is the best example, but CS:GO, you get where I'm coming from, right? Lidakor, like, you know, if you're like, if all your guys are dead, the round just ends,